What's good? What's good, Smokers Hut? I'm back in this piece. What's going on, y'all? All right, I want to start the video by saying Adam from Adam and Eve was black. He was a black man, and here's why. Because white people, white men and a white woman cannot make black skin. So if you do believe in Christianity, that there was a black and a white, an Adam and an Eve, then, you know, then he was black, to put it simply, because, black people eventually can make white skin with a recessive gene. White people cannot, so make black skin. So if Eve had a black baby and Adam was white and Eve was white, she'd be like, oh my God, what happened? And he'd be like, oh my God, you cheated on me. So yeah, no. If you do believe in Adam and Eve, they were black. I'm sorry. I had to say that because last night I had a conversation with a young black man, and he I had to enlighten him. I had to teach him. I had to teach him. So yeah, Adam is black. That's just, side note. But that's not what this video is about. That was just a fun fact. That was just a little fun detail. That's not what this video is about. I'm not getting religious on y'all. Today, I want to talk about prison reconstruction, right? And I made a video earlier, like 5 minutes ago, about this, but I had to delete it because people just started talking about nonsense in the other room, and my camera was picking it up. It's just, I had to make another video, so here I am. But basically, I'm going to try to concise this into a smaller version, but my prison reconstruction idea is basically, are you guys ready? Because it's life-changing, it's world-changing, it really is. Are you guys ready? My idea is I'm proposing a town of inmates, right? A town of inmates where, versus our prison system today. The fuck is that? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, a town of inmates. If I get distracted one more time, like by this video, I'm recording this in the car, and that'll just be that, because I want this video made, and people are inconsiderate that I live with, so it is what it is. But this video is getting made regardless. So here we go. Yeah. So what the town would have is it'd either be a very large one town in America, or it would be 3 to 5 towns across America. You see what I'm saying? 3 to 5 smaller towns, or one very large town of inmates. And these inmates, quote unquote, would be, society's outcasts, people we deem harmful to be in society, people who can't conform to society's code of ethics, rules, and morality. That is what an inmate would be in this town. In the town, there would be different sections for different crimes. So if you're a violent criminal, if you're versus a white collar criminal or something like that, or a petty crime or something like that. Petty crime, you probably wouldn't even go to the town. Petty crime, you'd probably spend the night, a week to a month in jail. There's still gonna be jails. But I'm saying, for people serving a year, 2 years, 3 years, prison, not jail, prison, this is my idea of reconstruction for the prison system. And yeah, different sections for different crimes. So you're not gonna have your murderers necessarily living with your your white collar criminals, or because it's violent for the white collar criminal. You never know what could happen to him or her in that situation. So you'd be separated based on the crime and the severity of your crime, and you would be put in a location where people who have committed similar crimes like that are most likely. So I'm gonna proceed with the prison reconstruction idea. The town is gated off. No one in, no one out. So until your time is finished being served, you cannot get out of the town. You can't go and visit your family or anything like that. You're still in prison in a way, but I don't want you in a cage. I don't want you to be going, you have to go here, you have to go there. The point is, you can't be in society. Do I think that means you need to suffer for certain things? Yes. Like these school shooters and stuff. Yes, you need to suffer. I want you to suffer because you're crazy and you know what you did to hurt people. But a lot of crimes, I'm like, I don't think the person needs to be suffering as much as we need them apart from we need them apart from, what's it called, society. You know what I'm saying? We need them apart from society for society's safety more than we want to see this person miserable. So with that being said, no, there's no visitation either though. So you wouldn't be able, like, let's say your family member or friend got sent to the town. You cannot go and see them until the time is finished. Their time is up. Because this is the other thing. We don't want people coming in and out of the town, and the prisoners, not the prisoners, the inmates. You don't want them, the members of the town, to see people coming in and out and become envious, because they're going to be envious anyway. They know they're in this town, but them seeing people from the outside with different clothes and newer clothes and different food and snacks and all these things could lead to problems. So there's a reason, and there's a couple more reasons why no one will be allowed in the town who's not a inmate, and no one will be allowed out of the town until their time is served. But there's a reason for all of that. I'm going to move into the next point. A prison town economy. Okay, yeah. So there'll be a prison town economy where basically there will be a currency in the prison town where you have the opportunity to stand out, learn new things, and advance even while institutionalized. So basically, whatever snacks or reward method is in the prison town is within the town, you will be able to collect coins or some type of monetary. You'll have some type of monetary gain for learning new skills, teaching new things, being a good citizen of the town. You see what I'm saying? So in a way, you could become a very comfortable person in this prison town economy by doing good, wholesome things. You see what I'm saying? And also you will get the opportunity to learn more things the more helpful you are to others. And you'll stand out more, which would help your time. You see what I'm saying? So you collect these moral tokens in prison, and that helps your time, that helps your reputation. You see what I'm saying? With the law, all of that. So you do have opportunity to advance, learn new things, and become a better citizen later. So there would be an economy where, if you've been a good citizen or you're learning new things, we notice you're going hard at the trade yard, different things like that. So that brings me into my next point. Instead of institutions now that we have, like prisons where, they're inside cells and they're living on top of each other and there's not much to learn. You could go to the library and get a book, or you could talk to someone who might have knowledge, but there's nothing hands-on to learn. In the prison town, there would be different buildings. So you would have basically like an apartment building or a complex building where people are living in. But then in addition, you would have maybe 10 to 20 other buildings, and each floor is teaching each inmate different things. So let's say you want to do mechanic or automotive. That's the third floor. You want to do plumbing or something like that. That's the second floor. The first floor, you got your you got your electric or something like that. So now you have places almost like schools where people can go and they can gain this prison town economy. They can gain this prison town currency by learning these skills, by teaching other people these things, by by taking tests. You earn more things, and then you get better snacks and things like that. And it makes your stay a little easier. But all the meanwhile, you're becoming a more productive member of society for when you get out. And that's going to help more citizens when you get out. So, they stand out, and they're going to try their best to stand out and be a moral citizen because it makes your time easier. Some people are not going to care. You know what I mean? Some people in the town are just not going to care and say, F it, I'm here. It is what it is. And you can't help them. You know what I mean? You can't make them want to be better, but there should be 10 to 12 buildings or something where, each level of this building, we're learning something different. Here we're learning tech. Here we're learning, business. We're learning finance. We're learning about stocks, all these things, all these different floors. So in total, you have maybe 100 different little sub-genres of education, subgroups of education that these people are learning and getting better at. And they're almost competing with each other to see, I'm going to get out of here sooner than you type thing. And not only that, I'm getting better food than you. I'm doing all these things because I'm just learning more than you, and I'm helping the other people more than you. Right? And like I said, it's possible that a lot of the prisoners are not going to go for it and they just don't want to learn. But I think there should be an option where you say, look, you cannot be in society currently, so you have the opportunity to actually learn these skills. There's hands-on, there's model cars up there in the third floor where we do automotive. So you're learning hands-on. It's not a real car, but when you get out, you'll know how to work on a real car. When you get out, you'll know how to do these things. You'll know how to run electric in a house because you're learning it here. And and it'll work like that. But it's hard in this prison economy that we have today. I mean, this prison system we have today, where people are basically in prisons. They get to go out and eat, maybe go out on the yard for a while, but they have no real incentive to learn anything new. They have no real incentive to, become a better person, because it's more like, you're just waiting for me to rot here. So that's why I'm thinking about this prison reconstruction. That's why I'm telling you guys about this. Ignore my Adam comment earlier, but I just had to throw that out there. Like, yeah, Adam's black. I don't know why. I don't know why I keep going back to that, but yeah, Adam's definitely black. Okay. While in the prison town, you'll have the opportunities to learn new skills with the buildings and trades within the community, so that when released, there will be more productive men and women in society. So yeah, when they come out, like I said before, they'll know things from being in that town. And versus someone's coming out and saying, I read this book and I know a little bit about this, I studied it in prison. They can say, no, I've worked on this car. I know that engine. I know that engine, or I've ran electric already. Like, when they're gonna say, where'd you do that? When I was in, I don't know what you want to call it. Let's just say Babylon for now. Like, when I was in, let's call it Babylonia, right? When I was in Babylonia, I know I was there for 3 years. I made a mistake, whatever, but luckily I learned how to run electric while I was there. Luckily, I know how to work on cars now. I didn't know that when I went in there, but because I tried to climb the ranks, I wanted better snacks. I wanted a better life there. And I was there for 3 years. I started going to the trade houses. You know what I'm saying? I started going to the trade yards, and they taught me this, they taught me that, they taught me this, they taught me that. And now I have no reason to commit crime. You know what I'm saying? I just want a good job because I have all these skills. And that would be life-changing, I think, for a lot of prisoners. I think that would be a big shift. And even it would help with the relationship between black people and the police, because I think a big part of why, at least for me personally, I don't like the police, beyond the history of them beating us and beyond the history of them throwing sicking dogs on us and watering us down with hoses and all that, and protecting the KKK, all that. Beyond that, one of the worst parts is, like, you're taking minority men and putting them in these situations where there's no possibility of them, like, having kids, having a better life. We know that the outcome is usually a harder life afterwards, and that tears us apart, because those are our family members, those are our brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, dads, so it hurts. But if they're in a town, at least it makes us feel like, okay, they genuinely have the opportunity to learn something better, meet someone, even if they want to, a girl or a guy in the town, if they'd like, and become something better. At least it's on them. But you can't honestly tell me that it's on the prisoner in this system to become better. There's no opportunity to become better in this system. So, but with my idea, at least you say, why didn't you go to the trade yards, yo? You could have been hands-on learning this stuff. There's no excuse. In prison is different. Okay, go to the library, find this book, learn about this. A lot of people are not going for that, bro. A lot of people are not doing that. And even if they do it, how much do you really learn without experimenting with the technology? You know what I'm saying? How can you learn how to write code if you have no computer? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You need an institution or a building where you can go and say, all right, I'm learning this. I'm genuinely learning it by doing it. And that can only happen with this prison reconstruction. The final point, and I know a lot of you guys are thinking, that sounds like hell on earth. Like, who would go to that town? Or isn't that town going to get overrun or be riots and stuff like that? This is the final point, and this is an extremely important part of the town, extremely vital point. The town would be heavily surveilled. So heavily surveilled. There would be surveillance in every crevice of the town. Literally every square foot would be monitored. So we know where the prisoners are at all times. We know what they're doing. We know who they're interacting with as far as the other inmates. There's no citizens in or out of the town. Because if they were, we would immediately detect them and say, okay, you know, you're not supposed to be here. This is a restricted area. This is actually a prison, you know, that you're in right now. You need to leave here right now. Or maybe we even have some gates or something, you know, some type of surveillance system. But the town would be so heavily surveilled that we would know what's going on, you know, at all times. That's one part. That's just, it is what it is. Because if there's going to be a town of inmates, they're going to have to be monitored. You know what I'm saying? That you can't just build that and be like, well, let's hope it goes well. No, there needs to be guards. There needs to be some type of system watching that area, of course. So it would be so surveilled. Literally every square foot, every inch would be, you could tune into a different camera and see, oh, okay, what's this person doing? Where are they going? Where are they headed? Okay, you know. And that's how it would be. But I know this sounds like a little bit of a eccentric plan or a little bit crazy or like out of the blue, but it actually makes better sense to me because for one, it keeps the society safe. It gets the same results. Society stays safe, right? Society's protected. They're not in society anymore. They're in their own society. They're away from everyone. But on top of it, they get to learn with good institutions, solid institutions. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people might say, oh, well, who's going to teach at those institutions? People will do it. If the pay is there, if the money's there, because prisons have made this country a lot of money. So if we can't take some of that money and dump it back into the people who, you know, generated that money, then we're just robbing them. We're just basically profiting off of people's shortcomings if we don't dump that money back into making that system better. You know what I'm saying? Because a certain amount of humans are always going to make mistakes or not follow the rules. If we don't dump that money back into making that system better to make people better when they get out of the system, then we're just ripping people off. You know what I mean? So that's basically my idea. A town of inmates, different sections of the town for different crimes, you know, depending on the severity. The town would be gated off, no one in, no one out until your time is finished being served. There would be a prison town economy where there's opportunity to stand out, learn, and advance while being institutionalized. You know, you have a chance to be a better prisoner even. You see what I'm saying? You have the opportunity to be an upstanding prisoner, which will give you a sense of pride where you don't feel like nobody cares about me. Let me just throw my hands up and forget this, you know, forget learning a skill, forget, you know, being a better person, forget being a great parent. I give up. At least you feel like there's room to improve. There's still a chance, you know? If I collect enough of this prison currency, maybe I'll get some good snacks. I'll have a good night's sleep and get my energy back up. And then tomorrow I could have enough energy to go down to the trade yard and learn a skill or start learning a skill. There would be opportunities to learn new skills and trades within the community so that when released, they will be more productive men and women in society. You know, very simple. It's very simple. There needs to be institutions or buildings for these people to go to if you want them to be better people. You cannot learn everything by just being... I was just with a girl last night, and the first thing she was saying to me, she's like, I'm a visual learner. Like, I'm a very hands-on person. Like, you know, things like that. And I'm like, yo, most people are. You know what I'm saying? You can't give someone some books or something, or give someone a talk of advice and be like, oh, that's going to change their life. No, people have to sit down and be like, oh, do I like writing code? Do I like messing with cars? Do I like law? Do I like, you know, education? Do I like these things? Oh, and then when they find what they like, you'll notice they bloom, you know, they shine in that industry. But if they never are introduced to it, if they're never brought to a place where they can even learn, then, you know, then it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And then the final point is the town would be heavily surveilled. There would be surveillance all over that place. Like, you know, that, and I understand a lot of inmates or prisoners or people who have been to prison might be like, oh, that part's lame. Like, that's not cool. Like, that's not cool. That's inhumane. But let me be honest with you. Prison is already heavily surveilled. At least you're in a town that you can move freely, you know? You can move freely, go to a grocery store, go somewhere to get a different type of food. Like, you don't have to be living in a terrible way. I think the point of prison, more than to see you suffer as an inmate, is to keep society safe, right? So if that's the point, then I think that this is a good, solid idea, because it's keeping society safe. You're away from society, but the only addition to it is you get the opportunity to learn something. You get the opportunity to be better. You get the opportunity to actually come out. This is the only plan where the inmate has the opportunity to go into prison and come out better than someone who didn't go into prison. Now, I'm going to say that again. Think about what I just said. This is the only system, the only one, where someone can go into prison, come out, and have more of an education than someone who just stayed on the outside. You see what I'm saying? Like someone who went, let's say I never go to prison, but I just goof off. I don't take life serious. I don't invest. I don't do anything with my money. But I just, goof off for 5 years or 6 years. I don't save my money. I don't do anything smart. And then this other, my counterpart, who's my age, goes to prison. But he decides, I'm going to go to these trade yards. I'm going to run up this prison town economy. I'm going to run up this. I'm going to do my best here. I'm going to just do my absolute best. And they learn these things. They could come out of prison in a better position than me. You see what I'm saying? With this plan, they could come out and say, bro, I did make a mistake. I messed up big time. But I went into prison and I applied myself. And now I got a 6-figure job, bro. I got a 6-figure job because of what I learned in that town. And I could just sit there and be like, dang, well, good for you. You know what I mean? Good for you. I'm glad that happened. But in this system, that's so unlikely. That's like, the odds of that are so slim. Someone coming out of prison being like, yo, I'm making 6 figures because of what I learned in prison. Because most of them aren't learning much. There's not much to learn. The books are old and outdated. And if you do, and that's the off chance you do even get your hands on it. At least with this plan, there's a lot of incentive, and it doesn't make you feel like you're less of a human. You just have to be somewhere else. It's like you got to move. You know what I mean? We're not saying you're inhumane. We're not calling you an animal or anything like that. You just cannot be with the others right now until we figure out, if you're safe to be around other people. In the meantime, learn. In the meantime, learn a skill. In the meantime, become a better human so that when you get out, you could help people's business or you could do these things. But with our current prison system, it's just not realistic. You're most likely 99.99999% of the time, the person's coming out behind everyone else because you staggered their mental growth. You hindered them from learning. You didn't promote them to learn. You didn't give them facilities. You didn't give them knowledge. You didn't give them opportunity. You gave them, sit down in the corner. You did something wrong. And that's what's going to happen. But then what happens is they come out and then their family and their friends and their acquaintances say, you know what, this whole system is trash. They ruined your life. Look what they did to you. Regardless, what you did was wrong or whatever, but now your life is over or it's super hard for you to make money. And then everyone resents the system. And I do resent the system. Like I said, police, very racist force. But that's why I make these videos. I try to think of ways. I try to think of solutions. Like I could sit here all day and complain. But that's what a lot of YouTubers do too. A lot of rappers got a million complaints and a million things to say. But who's thinking of solutions? This is a genuine solution. Town of inmates, different sections for different crimes. Town is gated off. I think that's a beautiful idea. If anyone disagrees with me, feel free to leave it in the comments, because I'm sure this plan has its problems. I'm sure a prison guard or someone who's ran or owned a prison knows, oh, well, you're not thinking about this, or you're not thinking about that, or you're not thinking about this outcome. I'm sure. I'm not super well versed in building a prison or building a prison town, but my idea, I think, is solid. I think it's a solid plan, and I think it will be implemented in America in the future, hopefully in my lifetime. But If not in my lifetime, then in the future. But I think this is a genuinely good plan. And I don't really see what's wrong with it unless you genuinely just want to see all inmates suffer. Granted, though, certain inmates do need to suffer. You see what I'm saying? Certain inmates, this might not even be an option. Like, if your crime is way too petty, this might not be an option for you. If your crime is way too violent or heavy, this also might not be an option for you, because we have to keep the people in this town somewhat safe too. You see what I'm saying? Like, let's say you're like something crazy. You did something really crazy. We can't necessarily send you here either. You might need solitary. You might need solitary confinement, because then we're risking these people's safety, and that's not the goal. The goal isn't just to throw these people to the, all by the wayside. And I think that America does that far too often. Oh, this one's defective, throw them to the wayside. This one's wrong, throw them to the wayside. And then their whole life is ruined or staggered by so much. And it's like impossible to get out of that position. That's what this will change. And, this is a proposal. I really feel like a president right now, but this is a proposal that I think can help not just the inmates, but also the judicial system as a whole. And not just the judicial system, but America as a whole, because long term, in the short term, you might have to work out a few kinks, but in the long term, you're building a more productive society. You're building a more educated society, a more skilled society, because your prisoners are going through here and they have these opportunities to go through these schools and these trade houses, these different trade buildings. I'm just saying, I can't think of another option where that makes more sense. You obviously are going to have to watch for violence in the town and things like that, but that's why it's heavily surveilled. Before it even gets to that point, you could see what's going on. You see what I'm saying? And there's still people who work in and outside and around the town who, if something was to pop off or anything, they would have to take action. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, at least you're not sitting in a cage all day just rotting. And that's basically the end of this video. Yeah, don't forget, Adam's black. Adam from Adam and Eve is black, because black people can make white skin. White people cannot make black skin. I'm not racist. I love white people, but science is science. And I'm tired of them changing all these Christian figures to white people. Jesus white, Adam white, Moses white, Luke white, everyone white. So, I just like to sprinkle in some of my spiritual and religious knowledge. I'm not a Christian though, but if there was an Adam, right? If there theoretically was an Adam, a one man that was created by the creator, that man was definitely black. But on that note, I'm ending this prison reconstruction video. You guys are awesome. Please subscribe, like, all that, comment. Check out Roanoke. If you guys haven't yet, Roanoke's on SoundCloud. Check it out, run it up. Lonely Road is doing mad good. Thank you guys. I love that song. But yeah, I don't know. Just really take deep thought and think about this prison reconstruction thing. Think about it. Just really think about the good effects it could have, and, weigh the pros and cons, and you tell me what you think, because I think it's a great idea. But you guys let me know what you think. Like I said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Fucking follow me on Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, everything, bro. But on that note, y'all have a good day, and I'll see you when I see you. Probably, I want to say 2 or 3 days, I'll probably make another video. But on that note, peace.